Well, good morning, guys. How are you? Thanks for coming. All 9 of you so far, and I think that 9 includes me and Gary. Gary Foster's with me this morning, and I got him sitting patiently in the Skype room, and we tried it yesterday, and everything worked fine. So I'm going to bring Gary in right now, and let's just hope that it works. If we can't hear him, it'll take me a second to get it fixed out, but I'm hoping for the best. So, Gary, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Okay,
good morning.
I can't hear you, so let me find out why. Say something, Gary. Let me hear.
I'm still here, Mitch.
Well,
whenever you're ready for the audio portion.
So if anybody in the stream can hear Gary, let me know.
Hugh hears me.
I can hear Gary. Well, great. I'm the only one that can't hear Gary. That's not going to work. So I got to figure that one out. So hang on a second.
For me, we can get away with all kinds of stuff, guys.
Gary, say something.
Okay, I'm here.
I hear you. Okay. Just one of OBS's many obscure settings. I had to turn the monitor setting on for that particular channel.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so who we got here with us this morning? We got Hugh Asgard, Brent Nunley. Good morning, everybody. David Maxwell, how are you? Good to see you. And Peter Carroll from Australia. How you doing? Manic said that he actually watched the whole entire 5-hour live stream from the other.
That was a marathon.
Man, I thought I needed to get a life, you know. Wow. So Asgard says he hears Gary echoing.
Echoing?
Yeah, I think it's just room echo, Gary. I hear a little bit of room echo. Well, we'll just have to go with it. And how about my voice? Hugh, is my voice echoing? God, it's a shame that half of these live streams have to be about getting the technical stuff right in the first place, because it was fine before. Yeah, it was fine before I could hear them. So let me go back and check that setting again and see if there's another option. I'm sure there's probably another option. So
that's 1, 2, 3. Hello. Here I am.
Monitor and output. Okay. Say something now.
Okay, here I am, Mitch.
Okay, so
testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count to 5. I got 5 fingers.
Okay, so now did I actually change anything here, or is it still the same, or did I cut Gary's audio out completely? Somebody in the chat, let me know if you would. Good, just loud. Oh, okay. All right. So we can turn the volume down a little bit. Go ahead and say something, Gary, if you would.
Okay, here I am. Turn me down, turn me down, turn me down, turn me up, turn
all right.
me down.
So let's hope that works out, and we'll see if turn him down a few. I did. Okay. So we'll let that bake a while, because there's something really serious that I need to talk to everybody about this morning. It's a trend in YouTube live streams that's just it's just disturbing. It's very, very disturbing, and I think that something should really be done about it, and I really mean it. And what I'm talking about is this tremendous overuse of sound effects that everybody's doing these days. Did you all hear the sound effect?
No, didn't.
You didn't hear the sound effect. I played a sound effect, and if it didn't work, my whole shtick is ruined here. You got to hear that.
Maybe everybody else heard it.
Did that work? At any rate, let me know. Somebody let me know if you can hear all these sound effects in my stream here. The guests hear it. Okay. Oh no, Gary's got one too. At any rate, so I just
let me shoot the laser.
Oh God! Yeah, this is what happened on Lloyd's stream last night, and it's funny to a certain point, but it showed me that you really got to be careful with this stuff because you can really overdo it. Like it's a lie. Like that. And unfortunately for me, I found an app for Android that has hundreds of these stupid things. I mean, absolutely hundreds of them. So what I've done is I've picked the usual favorites out. Picked the usual favorites. The ever popular Broken Glass, the Boing one. The Applause is a good one. A sympathetic audience. Babies crying. Chainsaws. I'm going to get this out of my system right now, okay? Because I got to get it out of my system. Damn! I can't hear you!
See, I can't hear this end.
No, you can only hear him through the stream, but I've even here. This is my favorite deal right here. And like I say, guys, just there aren't too many people watching. Humor me through this. I got to get it out. I got to get it out of my system. But where is it? Where is it? This one is.
Morning, Chris Hope.
Go where no man has gone before this summer. Viewer discretion is advised.
David Maxwell wants to know if his name is Chip.
There you go. Yes, Asgard. I know you can overdo sound effects. That's what I'm trying to point out here. Is that lately we've got these sound effects machines, and because of the novelty of them, everybody is just way overdoing it. So,
this stream is very early, Mitch, and it's.
Okay. Put yours. I'll tell you, Gary. You put yours away. I'll put mine away. How's that? Is that good?
I've just got mine on the phone.
Well, I have a tablet here with this app on it, and like I say, this thing has about 500 different sounds, which makes it almost unusable. But it gives you a way to put the sounds into a favorites folder, so you can pick the bunch. Unfortunately, I found about 75 favorites, so the folder is still 2 pages of these things, and some of them are really cool, like this one.
Whatever.
It's like a Valley girl saying whatever, and.
You're hooked on this.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, and then I got a Schwarzenegger-like thing here. That's cool. I like that one. Like I say, I'm going to get this all out of my system here. It's got a submarine sonar, and the ever famous, and a shocked crowd. Harmonica, and the single most popular sound effect in anybody's arsenal, or this one. Okay, so that's it. I'm done. Asgard says he loves sound effects. We haven't scared too many people away. Anyway, Gary, let me change the window here so that.
It's me, Gary Foster's Brant Aerials. Yep. Yeah, back in the day, I just opened a YouTube channel just to post pictures of my granddaughters and my wife skating. And then as I got into the drones, started posting drone video using editing software that came with my computer. I'm still at the stage where everything is bone stock, the way it came. I'm using a 9-year-old Mac with iMovie, so nothing too fancy. Built-in microphone, built-in camera. That's it. That's all I got. But I started just over a year ago with a little Sky Viper drone, and I was crashing that thing into all kinds of stuff. It was, it had a mind of its own. And once I got that one destroyed, I I went to the Mavic and Mavic Air and started posting there. In order to pay for the thing, because I'm retired, I started doing some real estate business, and that was okay for a while. It was almost paid for the drone, so we're in good shape here.
Cool. They said they couldn't hear me, and how about now? I had created a nice new scene here to bring you into Skype and forgot to put my my microphone in it, so that it's never good. But I'll wait here 10 seconds or so for somebody to give me a little feedback. Okay, good. I'm back now. Yeah, I hate it when that happens, but the configuration on this OBS is, once you get it set up, it's great. But there's so many ways on these things, and I'm sure that Wirecast and the other one the guys are using is just as easy to forget to put a particular asset into a particular scene. So you may have the video stuff looking great and everything looks great, but you forget to stick the sound capture device in there. So, but once you get all these different scenes, and I've got, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them already set up, and get everything put in them, you save that whole collection off and as a backup, and then you can always reload a particular collection, or you can make different collections for different types of uses. If excuse me, if you have OBS set up for a number of different, maybe you have it set up to one live stream might be for gaming, another might be for a chat show, another might be for something else. You can save these collections off, and then when you open it, you just load in the settings you want. It brings in everything exactly as you left it. Plus, it gives you good backups should something ever crash and you got to reload the whole thing. So I guess according to the chat, everything is fine. We've got Andrew in. Andrew, how are you? Good to see you this morning. And Peter's still here. I'd like to hope we get some more people. I realize this is early in the morning. Philly Mike is going to stop in and see us. He had an appointment he had to go to this morning, but he basically will be in, and he's going to be my co-host next week if all works well. And he's a wild man, and it's always entertaining.
Yeah, Michael was fun last night on that 5-hour marathon we had.
that was a whole nother story, and to get Spike to get involved in that thing was really something. It was I don't know. Vanek said that he watched the whole 5 hours of it, and I've rewatched a great deal of it. And it was wild, and it all, interestingly enough, it started out as a test. I needed somebody on the other end to let me know how it was working, so I didn't want to do a private stream to do a test. So I said, I'll go public, and I got a couple people out there that have my bells rung, and they'll, somebody will chime in the chat, and so I went live, and I'm playing around with settings and trying. The purpose of it was to bring in Hangouts into a window in my setup here, so that unlike this live stream where I'm going to bring in one person at a time by Skype, which has great integration with this setup, I wanted to have a Hangouts deal like Roger has, where you have 4 or 5 people and let Google handle handle the switching. So one thing led to another, and somebody popped in, and another guy popped in, and next thing I know, I had 5 or 10 people in the chat room popped in. Then Philly Mike popped in, and I got the thing working, and then Spike comes in, and one thing led to another, and 5 hours later, we finally decided it was enough, and we called it quits. So it's out there, and it's I don't particularly want to do that again. But what my plans are, if anybody really cares, is to continue to do this Thursday morning stream with one guest, and hopefully it'll build up. It's not the greatest time for it. I know it's early, and in a lot of places it's too late, but I want to try to just establish it as an hour and a half show. I'll get out of the way before 9 o'clock. I know most of the people will just kind of move over to Rogers after this. But for the near future, when I get some time, and I'm going to have a Hangouts type of thing that's just going to be impromptu. So you'll know about it if you're paying attention, or if you got my bell rung, and I will just come on, and we'll see if we can't gather a crowd, and we'll just have some fun, and everybody can be involved, and we'll let it go as long as it goes. And I don't make any bones about the fact that, like most people on YouTube, I would like to grow this channel to where it can be monetized. Not that I make a ton of money from it, but I'd like it to at least cover the costs. Gary, you know what I'm talking about. Cover the costs of buying whatever you need to do it, to keep it going. And the new rules that YouTube made with this 4,000 hours in any 12 months, in the previous 12-month period of watch time, is very, very, very hard to accumulate unless you have a huge channel already. So it's like a catch-22. You can't get the time unless you're big. You can't get big unless you you don't know which came first. So the only single way, I looked at the amount of accumulated watch time I have, and I've put up 20-something videos in the past two plus months, and my total watch time doesn't equal one well-attended 5-hour live stream, from all of that work and all of those videos, because I don't have enough supporters to get tens of thousands of views on a 4 or 5 minute video. And most people, they don't watch the whole video anyway. I look at the analytics, and it says, average watch time on a 10-minute video is like 1 minute and 17 seconds, and that's a shame, but nobody has the attention span anymore. So
yeah, that's disheartening, isn't it? Really,
it really is. And then you got Manic, who comes along and watches 5 hours of a live stream, and man, I love him for that. Gotta love him for that. So I decided that I do want to grow this thing, and I am having a great time at it. And I just have to do the live streams. And to be quite honest, it's much easier to do a live stream where you don't have to plan it out as a program like this, where you don't have to have a guest and have an agenda and have things to do to keep people occupied. It's just much easier to throw up a room, let 5 or 6 people come in, sit back, and let them have a ball, and you get the watch time. Like I said, I'm going to be honest about it. Now, what we all decided in that free-for-all the other day was that this isn't a bad idea, and everybody, including Spike and Mikey and you and everybody else that was in there, would like to share in getting credit for some of all this watch time. So we thought that we would just roam around. We had Paul, the drone bum, was in there, and one time we'll do it on Paul's nickel. Let him create the live stream, and we'll all go join him, much like we all join Roger. So, that's the kind of thing I think that this little group of guys that we have here is going to do. And
I've never really considered monetizing, because my videos are 3-4 minutes tops. If I do a 4-minute video, that's an epic. I'll fly for an hour and edit it down to 4 minutes. like you say, attention span is something. What I'll do is I'll play the video edit as I'm editing. I'll play it for my wife, and if she looks away, I cut it. Like that scene gets cut.
Really?
You know, I try and trim everything down to where it's interesting. I don't want to be doing a long shot and somebody sitting there going, "When's he going to get there?"
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. And who was it? I was watching somebody's YouTube video where they were giving you tips on editing, and the word they used was brutal. You know, we all fall in love with the stuff that we shoot, and we all think it's, Academy Award material.
Yeah.
But you got to be brutal when you're editing, and you got to cut this stuff, and you're saying, God, this is so good, how can I cut it? But you have to, because otherwise you're going to lose people's interest and everything else, which is why I came up with that idea we talked about, to have a little segment on these live streams from the cutting room floor where we can actually show people that are with us maybe a couple 3 minutes of what we think is good footage that never made it into any videos. I know I must have 50 hours of that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got a tip from somebody online, said that any clip over 12 seconds long is too long.
Oh, I agree. And for some people even say anything over 3 to 5 seconds is too long.
A lot of my stuff is 3 to 5 second bits all strung together. There might be 60 of them that make up to 3 minutes.
I agree. Unless there's a real reason for And even that you can still take the same scene and cut it with a zoom in on part of it. For example, you can actually just do a cut in Premiere Pro, go to the next clip, blow it up twice, and then do a transition to it where you're going from a wider shot to a closer shot, and it's still the same scene, but that transition does change interest, and they do that a lot in movies and TV shows, and I watch that stuff a lot.
You watch movies and TV, and they're all 3 to 5 second clips. Somebody's having a conversation, you'll see this view, and then this view, and then back to that view.
Right? I agree. Yeah, and sometimes
you see one stream of somebody sitting there yakking. It's back and forth and back and forth.
Well, sometimes it's not even a second. They're bing, 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 bing. I mean, especially like in the cop shows and things where you have action scenes. It's there's so many different schools of thought in how to cut this stuff and everything. But I'll tell you what I'd like to do right now is figure out how to get one of your little videos up here. So let me go to those. Which one do you want to go with first? The
go with the elevator one.
Okay.
There's something I'd like to show that's really close to the end of that, and I can explain how I got that shot.
Okay, so let me put that up here and get it into a.
Now the difficulty is I can't see it live here, so I can't comment on it as it's playing. I've got an 8-second delay. I think.
Oh, okay. How are we gonna get past that?
I can't comment on it live. So.
I really hadn't thought about that because it is unless you open up another window and play it yourself and start it at the same time I started.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. No, just go ahead.
All right. Let me move it over to where I want it, and we will. And another thing I need to do right now is I need to go to that scene first and make sure that your audio is in there, because otherwise we may not have you, and we may end up with the same problem we had before. So let me go ahead and give me a second.
Michael's listening to us on in the car. So.
Oh, cool! Hey, Mikey, how are you this morning? Let me. Hang on a
Don't
second.
make him type while he's driving.
Yeah. I'm trying to type while I'm live streaming. This is a whole other thing. What I want is this NDI source and existing Skype. Yeah, I didn't think about this, that that this might be an issue, but I'm going to actually just stick you down in the bottom. So we've got you in the scene, and I'm going to there's no pretty way to do this, but I'm going to bring it over here, and we're going to start it. And I muted the sound, correct?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
That's terrible music in there.
It's all yours.
Okay, well, we've got a pullback shot to start out. I'm looking at that on the live stream, so you're probably seeing this well before I comment on it. And this is just a point of interest shot. This is less than a mile from my house. Now, this is the top of the grain elevator, and you see all those antennas is where my internet comes from.
Oh, cool.
And this was a still shot that I threw in. This, when you're looking straight down, I think this is still too long. Now here we see a sunset. That's the banner. This one runs a little long. We can see the grain elevators as you descend, and then a truck will come into view with a reflection of the sunset in the window. It's kind of a dramatic ending to this one. I'm quite proud of this shot, actually.
Oh man, I liked that. I like that shot of the sunset in the truck window.
Well, and here's how that happened. I shot that backwards. I got the sunset in the window, and then went up, and then replayed it backwards to add that.
You know, I did. I did that the other day. I didn't put it in the video, but when I was out there on the dock, and I did that real quick pull away. I saw a video not too long ago of somebody was talking about how to make dramatic scenes, and he had one shot where the drone was flying towards him about 45 miles an hour and just went right up to his face and stopped.
Oh.
Boom. And what he did was he did it the other way. And then edited it backwards. And as long as you don't have people walking around or birds flying or cars going where everything else is going backwards,
absolutely,
you can't tell. And this thing come flying at him, 45 miles an hour, right up to his nose, and stopped.
Wow.
So I was trying to do that. I was going to do that with that shot where I pulled back away from myself and then do it the other way around, but I didn't start close enough to me. And it just didn't come out quite the same. And plus I would have had to have turned off, which I did in the long run eventually, to get close enough to that dock roof. But I had to basically turn off the obstacle avoidance because I couldn't. That Mavic 2 wouldn't come within 10 feet of me. I mean, full forward stick or anything. That wasn't close enough. So you need to do that kind of stuff. You need to disable all of that. So let's see, we got 11 people in here, and
yes, welcome to Lloyd Mendenhall. Cardosa Media is in the house now. Asgard has been here all along.
Centroid Mark is here.
Mark is here from Centroid Aerial Images. Good morning, Mark.
Well, good morning, guys. Thanks for joining us. Those of us that have been up since the middle of the night, appreciate you coming in.
I got up, Mitch, and it was still dark outside.
Oh, I always get up in the dark. Lloyd just made you a moderator. I noticed that you were one of the few, and it looks like David Maxwell needs that too. We're one of these streams where I don't want anybody to feel that they're any less important. I enjoyed your show last night. In fact, you missed it this morning, Lloyd, but I got myself a sound effects machine too, and we had a little talk about the novelty of these things, and I think we maybe all overdo it a little bit. Applaud if you agree. I guess everybody agrees with me, and I went on a sound effects tirade this morning because
because you can.
Because I can.
Whatever.
And you know, I just thought maybe I just get it out of my system.
You hit David.
That's it. I'm sorry. I'm done now. But you and Mel were just having way too much fun with those things last night, and I got to tell you, maybe the smartest thing for me would be to get rid of this thing because I just don't know if I have the self-control. I'm going to try to use them where it's appropriate.
You've hidden David Maxwell, apparently, Mitch.
Did I?
Yes.
How did I do that? I went to give him a moderator.
Oh, there you go.
I did hide him. I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong button. I wanted to add a moderator. Okay. There we go. David.
Okay.
If you're still around, I'm sorry. So
now this stream is so good that Michael had to pull over and make a comment.
Oh, did he? What did he say?
He stopped driving. So
watch where you go, Michael. Get home and get onto your computer. We got Michael on his computer yesterday. He took the cover off of it and dusted it off because he's been using his iPhone and iPad to do this stuff. And we were talking on the phone, and he said, "Yeah, I built this monster gaming computer 2 years ago. Plus, he's got a notebook with a built-in webcam and everything. So we got all that up and running, and he got all the software up to date. And he and I were Skyping yesterday for about an hour, and he's just a whole new, he's next thing you know, he's going to be having his own 5-hour shows on YouTube. But he's going to be on with me next week, and that ought to be interesting.
Yeah, Michael has texted you, so apparently there's a text message on your phone.
Michael is texting me. Okay, I've got my thing on silent right now because the last thing in the world that I need is this thing. What does this say? Michael. Oh, Mike says he's at Penn's Landing. If you pull me in on Hangouts, I can maybe show you the place. I have a couple of minutes. Mike, for me to do that right now, unfortunately, would probably take me 10 minutes of sitting here trying to engineer it, and I don't think that'd be a great idea. But I do really appreciate the offer. Just get home and get into the chat with us. Centroid says, mind if I make a shameless plug on your stream? Why not? Go ahead. Then I can make shameless plugs on your stream. So let's see, what's the next video we got up here for you, Gary?
Actually, the next one was called Too Close. It's about 1 minute and 29 seconds. It's very short. At the 29-second mark, there's some wires. I went under a bridge, and there were some wires there, and I was so lucky. Just absolute sheer luck not to hit it. And you can see right up until the 29-second mark, you still can't see the stuff. It's
really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well let's go ahead and play that. Whoops.
You can play that one with sound if you like, because it's royalty-free music and there's some sound effect in it. So. Now, yeah, here you see the bridge from a distance, and we'll close in and go under. I mean, everything looks nice and clear. Everything looks just fine. Yeah, there's no problem here now. I still can't see anything. I can see some clouds up there, but
I still don't see any wires. But...
No.
right through him. Oh my
Yes.
God! I got to see that again. Hang on a second here. Let me go back to this and let's go back through that again. That. And you had no idea they were there, huh?
Nope. Nope. From where I was, I couldn't see him. From up that close, I couldn't see him.
Wow.
It was just sheer luck. And that's the Grand River. I would never have got out of there. Now, once I got through it, I still didn't know where the wires are. I didn't know if I could go up. I didn't know. And there's looking back at it. And can you see him?
Yeah, I just see him. Wow.
Yeah.
You know that there's a good lesson to be learned in that, and that is scope out your target close up before you fly through it.
For sure.
Yeah, maybe take a ride down that little road there and see.
Over in the corner, you can kind of see the pole that's holding the wires right next to the road.
Yeah, I see that.
That's about it.
Boy, they're great shots, though.
Yeah.
Great shots. You know, I live in Florida here, and everything is flat. We don't have any, even hardly any hills. So the closest I come to a scene like that is a I-95 overpass, you know? And I envy you guys with the bridges and the mountains and all that. Of course, you guys envy me with the beaches too. But you know, I watch these videos with the rock features. You know, especially some from Peru and Bora Bora and Australia, where you've got, you know, offshore, you've got these amazing things growing, rocks coming straight up out of the water. And one of these days I'm going to have to pack up my drone and go on a vacation, but to film it. But for right now, I'm stuck with filming beaches and highway construction. And you run out after a little while. Let me take a second and catch up on the chat. Have I said hello to everybody? Roger Price, Asgard Studios.
Paul Murray's in.
Oh, good morning, Paul. How are you? How did you escape not being a moderator in my stream? And we'll try not to hide you like I just did. But,
just boot him right out.
You know, some of us, you just got to be careful who you turn loose on the controls, because you just never know what's going to happen. There's a sound effect here that's really appropriate for this right now. I just got to try to figure out. What it is, so I won't play any. Gutsy Gear, good morning, early birds. How are you, my friend? Welcome, and we're gonna go ahead and give you a wrench too, so you can be part of the group. I don't know if it's a mistake. I know a lot of streams, they only have a few moderators that they give a wrench to, and you know, if most people don't have a wrench, I don't feel bad about it. But if you come into a stream where like the trend has started out where everybody's getting a wrench and you're the only guy that doesn't have a wrench, you probably, I don't know about you, Gary, but you feel like, what's wrong with me? So I started the trend here of giving wrenches, because I was just, when I did my first live stream, I was just so elated that there were 4 or 5 people out there that wanted to come and see me, that I just did what Roger does, and a lot of the other guys who have a community with them, and said, okay, we're just going to give everybody a wrench. And in the case of an attack of trolls, that's a great thing.
Well, yeah, everybody's on them.
Yeah, yeah. It's like going into it's like walking into a motorcycle bar and trying to rob the place. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Which reminds me of a funny story. I gotta take a second and tell a funny story. For a lot of years, I was a collector of handmade knives, and Hugh, he's a real knife guy, and we talked about this. about this passion for knife collecting. And the knives that I collected were the handmade knives, the one-of-a-kind knives that, in some respects, art knives, in some respects, hunting knives, but still handmade knives. And you'd go to knife shows. And there were a number of really big knife shows around the country. And these knife shows, the really big ones, encompass not only the handmade knives, but tactical stuff, hunting knives, factory, commercial, and the handmade knives, and the American Bladesmith Society, who is continuing the art of actually forging knives, making what they call Damascus steel, which is steel that's layered and twisted, where when you hammer it out and then acid wash it, the different types of steel will turn different colors from the acid. The higher carbon steel will turn black, the higher nickel steel will still say silver. And you see, most of the people have seen these gorgeous blades that are made in the tradition of the old Turkish fighters and Japanese swords, where they layer it for strength and everything else. But by hammering these different things and twisting them and rehammering them and twisting them, you get all these wild plywood-looking patterns that you can control, and it's become an art form. So they have one of the biggest knife shows in the country is called the Blade Show, and it's sponsored by a magazine called Blade Magazine, and it's in Atlanta at the Cobb Galleria Center, and they take over the whole entire convention area and generally book up the whole hotel. So here you've got this big atrium hotel, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the hotel is. But it's in one of these big atrium hotels where it's 14 stories, and there's a huge atrium in the center, and the hotel goes up around, and they have the glass elevators. And in come, for this Blade Show, the roughest looking bunch of guys. Because these guys, these are country guys, or these are tactical knife guys. These are the kind of guys that if you walk into their neighborhood, you turn around and you walk out. But they're the greatest people. They're the greatest people you ever want to meet. And the hotel fills up with hundreds and hundreds of them. And they're all patriots, and they're all good guys, but they really look rough around the edges, and they're wearing knives slung on them, and they, in sheaths, and we're out there, we're all showing knives and trading them back and forth, and we got switchblades, and you're showing switchblades. And at night in the hotel, after the show is over, there's a bar there in the atrium and seats all around, and the place fills up with all these rough-looking characters, all dressed with leather stuff on and knives and cowboy boots, and knives are out and switchblades are out, and there's always a couple of, for want of a better term, average citizens staying at the hotel at the same time, who didn't know that these people were there, and this stuff scares the shit out of these people. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether to hide in their room or. So one time we're all sitting around in this pit down in the bar, and in comes this very proper looking couple, older couple that looks like they're just come out of church. And this whole group of guys, and this is back in the day when you could smoke cigars in there too. But we were smoking cigars. This was the greatest thing in the world, to be able to smoke cigars, have a drink inside of a big atrium hotel, and show knives around. I mean, it's just, it's one of those Michelob moments or whatever. It just doesn't get any better than that. So in comes this husband and wife, and they walked right by me. They walked right by me, and I overheard the wife telling the husband, and she said to him, I don't know, dear. I don't feel very safe here. And this 300-pound guy sitting right next to me, huge guy, 6'6", dressed up with cowboy hat and knives, turned to her and said, "Ma'am, there ain't a safer place in the United States of America than right here." And he was right. He was right. And what reminded me of that was all these moderators, what would happen to a troll. Well, if somebody had come into that hotel with bad intent that night, with all of these armed guys armed to the teeth, it would not have ended well.
Wouldn't have been pretty.
No, it was true. It really was. It was the safest place in the country, right there with those guys. We got 18 people in. Some people are actually getting out of bed. Good for you.
Yeah, King FPV has joined us. Jerry Calvary is
Calverly.
Yeah, he's listening, but he can't chat much. He's driving.
Oh, okay. Oh, hi, Jerry. Good morning. And King FPV is here, and he says, "Hail, old guy in a drone." I like that.
This is sort of like the morning drive show.
It's okay. That's okay. Let me go ahead and make King FPV a moderator here. And who else have I missed? We've got Paul still hanging around. Lloyd's still here. Centroid. IVE. Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you? She says hi, Gary. Mitch, how did you do that cool setup? Oh, Ivy, I'm doing it in OBS and just learning how to do green screen and play around with this stuff. Listen, I got to keep up with Mel, and I got to keep up with Lloyd, and got to keep up with Ken Herron and all those guys. I can't. I just Are you using the OBS Studio program? Gutsy Gear says, yeah, I'm using the standard version of OBS, not the Streamlabs or any of the other versions, but just the standard version of OBS. And there's a little bit of a learning curve, but not that much. And it's terrific. Once you learn all the little ins and outs and stop making stupid mistakes like I keep doing by forgetting to put the microphone or the sound source into a new scene that you've just created. But it's really pretty slick, and really, once you get it set up, you save your settings, and then you don't have to keep setting it up unless you want to keep making it better and better and better every time you go onto a live stream. But let me see here. I'm going to just take a look at the chat for a second and see if anybody's asking me any questions. If Gary, if you see something that somebody
for sure
is asking me because I'm paying attention.
Price is just commenting on the video that Ken Herron made yesterday, where he blew up a Phantom battery with a gun.
I saw that. I saw that, and then on Lloyd and Mel's live stream last night, they were making some comments about, just how wise is it to turn Ken Herron loose with was it a 44 Magnum or a 357 Magnum or something like that? He shot the fire. The fire extinguisher was the cool part, and that slow motion camera that he's got. I have a funny feeling we're going to see a lot of slow motion videos in the near future from Ken.
Yeah. You'd never see that in Canada. That handgun's completely illegal here.
I know, and that's a. We don't want to talk about politics, and somehow guns always end up politics. But I personally am a gun guy and have a permit to carry, and think that.
Well, it's interesting. We talked about motorcycles the other day, and I went with some friends. My motorcycle group is called Sons of Apathy. We went down to Laconia, New Hampshire, for a motorcycle event there, big rally. And, you're going into bars and stuff, and, it was a great time, a bunch of drunk bikers. When I got back, I read a statistic that 80% of motorcyclists in the U.S. carry a firearm.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? That scared the hell out of me. It's so foreign to us here.
Yeah, well, that's the same as the story I just told you about the knife show in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The safest place that you could ever be is around a bunch of motorcycle riders who have permits and are carrying guns. There's no safer place in the world, and as evidenced by the fact that you don't see them committing crimes or killing people, and people know that they're armed. And when you know somebody's armed, you know, the old West, the Wild West, you had your bad guys and outlaws, and none of us were really there. So the only impression we have of the Wild West is what we see in the movies. But if you think about it, if you were walking down the street and somebody was walking towards you and you both had pistols belts on, full of bullets and two pearl-handled revolvers, the most likely interchange would be, "Good day, sir." "Good day, sir. How are you?" "Fine. How are you?" You engender respect when you're armed that you might not have otherwise. People would be very polite to each other if they all knew they were armed to the teeth. And it's unfortunate in our society that we have to be that way. But you know, all it takes is one lunatic, and all of the honest people and all the good people and decent people are in danger and need a way to protect themselves. And Mark Centroid says he finds that sad. I find it tragic. I find it tragic that we even have to have locks on our doors. But it is what it is. And as long as it is, you have to, I believe you have to, if you have your family to protect and yourself to protect, you have to do what's necessary. Now, I've always been a gun person, and I've never pulled it, never had to use it, never had a need for it. Hope I never do. But it is comforting to know that, and I may not even be in a position to use one should the opportunity come up. That's another thing. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're going to be able to get to it. If you get to it, it doesn't mean you're going to be in the frame of mind to use it, because we all know that when you panic terribly, you get tunnel vision, you go into adrenaline, you get an adrenaline rush. And I trained a lot of years at a pistol range to try to turn it into a reflex to shoot, but I don't even know that if my life becomes instantly in danger, if I would even have the wherewithal. But you do what you can. You do what you can. And that's enough about guns, I guess. Yeah, Mark, I do too. I say hi to people that I don't even know, and sometimes they look at you like you're crazy, you know. I don't know you. Why are you saying hello to me? Yeah, because I'm a nice guy and I say hello to people. So, Gary, we got another video of yours here. Frozen corn harvest.
Yeah, now, I don't know why. This one, typically my videos,
Marcy is a master.
490 subscribers. Typically my videos will get 100 views maybe.
Yeah.
This one here has 600 views, and I have no idea why this one was so popular. But you could play it and see what it's about.
I put it in there, and it's bringing up an ad. Why did I get an ad? No, I don't think I got the right video here. Hold on a second. 16,941 views.
No, that's not it.
That's not you. Yeah. We can only dream, can't we? I was going to say, if that was you, it looks more like Michael than you, but...
I sent a bad link?
No, I got it. Frozen corn harvest. It's it's 2 minutes and 44 seconds. How about the music on this? Is that... The
music is good. That's MU-free music,
okay.
So it's...
So I won't get a copyright violation on it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Here we go.
MU-free music is fabulous, by the way. I really enjoy it.
Oh, every time I hit that, I get this stupid screen. More wires. Oh, that's the same wires.
This is my intro.
Oh, okay. You know, it's cool. There's something about watching construction equipment from a drone.
Yeah. Here we see the truck pulling up next to the road. And there they are loading up. Now this, all this corn that's being loaded on is headed for the grain elevator we saw in the first video.
Now I've got somebody in the chats telling me we don't have audio.
No audio on
No
us?
audio, Mitch, IVE says. Well, we'll sort that out after this is over, but I'm seeing audio. Audio is good here. Roger says, okay, all right. It might have been just for a second when I first switched to it. I didn't have the sound unmuted.
Yeah. Now here I was flying directly over it. So you try and get different views of the same operation.
That's cool though.
Yeah, and here you see there you see the tractor pulling away when he's got his bin full. And then he heads over and loads the truck, you see.
Oh, it's very cool.
Yeah, and he can keep combining. This is right next door to my house.
Really?
That 100 acres is what gives me the wind and snow drifts.
Holy mackerel. Oh, that's cool. Got your landing pad.
Yeah.
What'd you shoot that with?
Oh, that's Mavic Air.
That was a Mavic Air?
Yeah.
That thing lifts the camera up when it lands too, automatically?
Yeah, I think I might have been lifting it up at the end there. But yeah, and that was landing here in my yard, so you can see the field in the distance there. So we're a few hundred feet from the corn.
Cool, very good. Very good.
I'm looking out the window to see. Oh yeah, that's where I shot it right there.
Okay, everybody told us the audio was good. It's a shame that we have to keep troubleshooting all this stuff, but
yeah.
I'm learning. Cover drones. Good morning, Cover Drones. I haven't seen you before. Covers Drones. Welcome. We have very few rules in here. Just behave. That's basically it. One rule, and I'll give you a wrench. And welcome to our chat.
Rule number 2, Mitch, is hit the like button.
Yes, hit the like button, and the main rule: subscribe to my channel, ring the bell. So you won't miss any of this riveting drama that we have here in the morning. Lloyd says scene switching and setup is always a challenge. Yes, sir, Lloyd. It really is, but it's fun too. It's fun to do it, and you try to think of get all the bases covered. And I saw you guys had your challenges last night, and I always have my challenges in the stream. And the people that come and watch are people that are I consider in my community, and they're friends, and I don't worry about it. They tell me when I'm screwing up, and I appreciate the input, and then I can fix it. So I'm glad that you're here, buddy. And by the way, congratulations. I think I wished you Craig congrats in the chat last night, but congratulations on your 500. I've been watching you and Rodney Bell go at it, nose to nose there, and I don't know what happened to you. I just passed 400 myself, and it seems like when you get to these milestones, they take them away from you. I got to 406, and the next morning I was at 397, and then I got some more, and I was up to 405, and the next day 396, and it went on like that for about a week, and finally I felt like a hurdler at the end of a race. I bust through the tape and got over that enough over that 400 hump, and I think I'm at 420 something right now. So. But you don't seem to have that kind of problem until you hit these milestones. So yeah. We'll see.
I've been stuck at 490 for about 3 days, and it'll go up to 492 and then back to 488, and then you just can't get there.
Well, you need to get into go to Rogers or go to Pusa and get his attention and say, get me up there. The only problem with that is, I think, the reason that we keep going up and down is if you go into these channels where you're going in just for the sole purpose of getting subs, and you're not going in for people that are looking maybe to see what you do or are interested in your content. Those people, they'll sub to you, so you sub to them, and then the minute they leave, they'll go in and unsub.
Yeah.
You know, they're just...
one of the difficulties is that sub count shows up in your window, right? So you're kind of watching that, and you ignore the watch time. And I think the watch time is the more important metric. Only about 30% of my viewers are subscribers. The rest comes from somewhere else. I don't know where it comes from.
Well, people find our videos, which is why tags are so important. And I bought into this TubeBuddy thing because of the tools they have, and there really is tremendous, because you may think that some of the tags you put in are appropriate or are going to get people to your channel, but just like in a Google search, you might come out on page 6,532 of the search results. Yeah. And the only way anybody's going to find you is if you can come up with some kind of a tag for the search engines that is unique enough to get you into the first page or the first group of results. Now, generally those tags are going to be fairly obscure, and these tools allow you to try these different tags out. And they'll tell you that there are 275 million videos that will come up when somebody types in that tag. So what you're really looking for, and this is what I've garnered from watching the videos on how to do this and trying it myself, you're looking for to make a video about something that is off the beaten path, that there aren't too many people looking for, but there are enough people looking for, and there is so little competition with other people making these videos, so that when that smaller group of people looks for this obscure subject, they will find your video. If that smaller group of people happens to be 50,000 people instead of 50 million, if you get 10% of those 50,000 people click your video because it's only one of 10 that show up on those obscure keywords, you got 5,000 views. Yeah. And you're better off, I think, doing that. Now, that showed me that if you're really trying to get somewhere in YouTube, you got to really find, you got to find some kind of a niche that lets you be a star. Otherwise, you're just going to get buried in mass. I mean, try to be a camera reviewer, or try to start out in any of these subjects that have, you know, millions and millions of videos out there. You don't stand a chance. So for us, for example, putting in there aerial photography as a keyword is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And interestingly enough, there's a tool in this TubeBuddy thing that will actually tell you if any of your keywords rank. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's really interesting. In fact, let me try to do this. Let me open a window here, and I'm going to put it up on the other screen here for a second. I'm going to go get my own YouTube channel up here, and I'm going to take that window and move it over to here. Whoops, wrong place. I'm going to move it over to here, and I'm going to let everybody see it right now. So let me go into this. Okay, so what I've got a window here of my own YouTube page, and there's a TubeBuddy thing. The mouse isn't in it here. Let me move it over to another monitor here for a second, and where I can show you the mouse. Just bear with me, and maybe this will be worth something to you or not. I'm not an expert at this, but I've been studying it. So let me go to this here and transition. Okay. So now you should see my mouse on there. Okay. I have let me go to all my videos. And down here, there's a video that's been my most popular video. It's how to build a vlogging rig, and it has 1,000 views, which is amazing for me. I've never had a video that got 1,000 views. And the reason, and I wondered, why did this particular video get 1,000 views? And I looked over here on the right. Let me move you out of the way here. I looked over here on the right, and these are the tags that I had put in this thing. Drone photography, radio control, flying, and there's a button over here that says show search rankings. So I clicked on this, and for some reason on GoPro Hero 7 Black, this video ranked, and there's a little number 3 in there. Can you see what I'm pointing to right there? It says 3. For some reason, this video came up in the top searches on the term GoPro Hero 7 Black. It also came up high in GoPro vlogging, GoPro camera rig, and GoPro vlogging rig. And don't ask me, I'm puzzled. I have no idea at all why this thing rated like it did. But I've been trying to figure that out because I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And that's a handy tool, that TubeBuddy thing. And one of the things is it's very, very important. And we started this conversation, Gary, when you asked, you don't know why most of the views are from other than your subscribers. And that is the that, I believe, is the real secret, the real key to success on YouTube, is to use those tools and figure out those ways that get your video presented to people that aren't your subscribers, because you know your subscribers are going to watch your videos. You want to bring new people in.
Yeah. Now, another thing is your video was called How To.
That's another. Exactly.
They say that the algorithm really looks for how-tos. I know I had a problem with my car, so I typed in how do I remove the door panel in a Subaru, right? And all I got was how to. So that's what it was doing. It was picking up that how to in the title.
A lot of people, including myself, I go to YouTube all the time. I had to put up some hardy board siding. You know what hardy board is? You know.
Yeah.
So I went to YouTube and I learned how to do it. I do that, and I agree with the how-to stuff. Maybe we need to come up with more how-to, how to make a fool of yourself on a live stream. Ask the expert.
Well, and I was thinking, because I cut my videos so much, maybe I was going to do a how to edit, and if I did a how to edit, that would probably blow up pretty good,
Gutsy Gear, he says Hardy board is the worst to install. That stuff, I don't know if anybody's ever worked with that stuff, but it's a concrete composite board, and when you cut it, it makes this fine. It's like cutting tile. Dust is terrible. You got to wear a respirator to cut it and everything else. But man, I'll tell you, once you get that stuff nailed up, it's there for the duration. It's wonderful stuff.
Random Dad has joined us, as well as Mr. Crowley and his drone.
I see that. How are you? And StarCop is here.
Roger,
good morning.
Roger
is Roger. Hey, Roger. Good morning, Roger. How are you, my friend? Glad you stopped by. I'm here. I'm warming up your crowd for you, like I usually do. Let me give StarCop a wrench. Keeps changing his name.
Well, I think StarCop's it's a lot shorter.
Oh, I like it better. It kills me. And my name is too long, but at least it's easy to type, okay? Because you can remember old guy and a drone. But I sit out on my back porch. I'm smoking my cigar, watching these chat rooms on my TV, streamed from my cell phone with Chromecast. And I'm on this cell phone with this tiny little keyboard. I want to talk to people and put the @ sign in so they know I'm talking to them. But some of these names are so long and they're spelled with such convolution. You can't possibly do it. And I just can't they do something to that mobile app where you can cut and paste or something, but it just won't work. It won't work. Starcop says he shortened it for me. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. And Dad Random, how are you? Let me give you a wrench here. Okay, I hope that works. Maybe next time we'll see if it works. And Lloyd Mendes, my name is too long too. That's true, Lloyd. When you and Jim Wallace too. I see Jim in so many of these different venues, and I want to say hi, Jim, and I usually say hi, Jim, if I'm on my cell phone, because otherwise, but a lot of times people will say hi, Mitch, to me, and I'll miss it, and because I'm not paying that close attention to the chat to see something that isn't lit up in red.
Yeah.
And I feel bad when I see it later on, and somebody said hello to me, and I didn't acknowledge that. But and especially when you're doing a live stream like that, I've got my I'll show you my my setup here. This is the setup on my main screen, and as you can see on the left over here. Is where I've got my chat, and over here is my main OBS window, and there's my Skype with Gary, who's been cut out of the conversation because in this particular scene I don't have Skype set up, and then various other files and things open up around here, and then I've got 2 other monitors surrounding me as well. But even though the chat is to the left in front of me, I still have to look this way to see it. And if it wasn't for those bright red things flashing over there, I wouldn't notice that somebody was talking to me. Yeah, Crowley says, I thought you were ignoring me. No, I don't want to ignore anybody. Listen, I have so few people compared to others that come to my fledgling little live stream here. I value everybody. In fact, I don't know if I looked down there and it said, and I ever got rated, or it said 250 people watching, it'd probably scare the shit out of me, to tell you the truth. So, Mike, are you in the house now? Are you out of your car? Philly Drone Life? Boy, I'll tell you, I see my name in red a lot up there. That's terrific.
Yeah, my problem is I don't see your name in this one.
Ivy says 21 is a hot chat. Thank you, Ivy. I appreciate that. Canadian Drive Up Lloyd. Okay, Roger's warming up for his show, and as you know, we were making a joke last week, Gary. I don't know if you were here when we said. He said, what we should do is they should have a way to just cut. You select everything in one chat room and then drag it over and mouse to the other.
Dump them over
to the other chat room.
Raid.
Yeah, be like a bus.
Raid.
Yeah.
Instant raid. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see everybody chatting away in here. That's nice. Anything else that you think you want to add here, Gary? I don't want to put you on the spot like that.
We're good. It's going to be time to wrap up soon. So
yeah, pretty soon. Pretty soon.
We don't want to horn in on his viewership for sure. No, this has been a good learner for me. This has gone smooth. I thought you did well.
Thank you. It's always, and I don't think it's ever going to stop being, to tell you the truth, ever going to stop being a learning experience doing these kind of live streams. I watched Greg, Oz by Drone, he's working on a very professional live stream, almost professional to the point of a regular network television show, and he's got his wife there acting as a producer for him, sitting behind the console switching scenes and doing that, and he obviously prepares tremendously for these things. He's got everything like Ken Herron does. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk about this story, that story. I've got this segment, this feature, these graphics made for it, and that's terrific. And I don't know if I'm ashamed to admit or whatever, but that I haven't done that yet. I am winging these things at this point, and I don't know if that's better or not, because sometimes you get to a point where you just don't really have anything else to say at that particular moment. You sit there like, you know, and
well, a lot of people don't realize the work that goes into starting this thing, right? You know, I mean, last night we had 2 hours of rehearsal, and you got me up at 5 this morning, and we went through it all.
It wasn't that bad. Come on, he's pulling your liar. he's kidding. He's kidding. We talked. What did we Skype for about 5 or 10 minutes yesterday? Yeah. But you were up early, because I mean, I was up early. I got up at 5:30 this morning. Okay, I got up at 5:30. And the first thing I do on these Tuesday mornings, because this is my third Tuesday morning live stream, so while it, you know, I mean, I don't think we're quite ready to call it a tradition yet, but I come in and I turn everything on just to see if it's going to work. You know, I've got all these monitors and soundboards and camera capture cards, and I'm using a Sony video camera as a main capture, and then I've got a Logitech cam that next to it that is hooked to Skype, so that unlike most of these OBS setups where OBS hogs the one camera and won't let anything else use it, you have to have a separate camera if you want to use Skype and OBS together. Then you set up all the parameters and the timers and the countdowns and get the music going and get everything else going. And and I got a checklist, and the biggest thing on the bottom of that checklist is unmute mic, because I forgot last week. I'm going, hi everybody, how are you? Good morning, welcome, and nobody could hear me because I forgot to push the little button on the mixer here that unmuted the mic. Because had the mic not been muted during the countdown, everybody would have heard everything that I was doing, drinking coffee, talking to Gary on Skype. So I had to make a note for myself, a big note that says unmute microphone. In fact, this here is my checklist that I have. This is what I have to go through to get started. It says turn on Sony camera before plugging in the AC, because the camera runs on AC. That's the nice thing about having a video camera. It runs on AC because I don't have to worry about the batteries running out in the middle of this. Go to menu and turn off the demo mode. The camera has a mode in it. This is for the store. And if you turn the camera on and point it at something, it will sit there for 2 minutes, and then it'll start playing a Sony movie, bragging about the camera. And I set the stupid thing up, and I'm looking up, and all of a sudden I'm watching a Sony commercial in front of me. I said, what the hell? So there's a setting in the menu you can go in and turn off the demo mode. And I don't know if it stayed off or not, but so every time, part of my checklist is go into the stupid camera menu, turn off the demo mode. So if any time in the future you guys start seeing a Sony camera commercial on my stream, that's what happened. That is, I plug the camera in the AC, plug in the capture card to the PC, turn on the Zoom H6, launch OBS, turn off the Yamaha amp. That's the normal sound system that I have in my studio here. And if that was on, then you'd hear the feedback through the mic. Check for proper stream key set in OBS. I made that mistake. I had last week's stream key in when I tried to start up a stream, and it wouldn't work. So you got to go get the stream key. Then you start snazzing, set the countdown timer, background music on the notebook, and verify. Set video to play on right monitor. Now, mute mic on Zoom. There's the big one. I learned that the hard way. Edit the ticker text, the ticker that goes across the bottom on the stream. You want to make sure you know that it's fitting for the day. Set countdown as active scene. Set main scene in preview, and set up background. Open Skype. Get URL for live chat and put it in. Launch the live stream, and then down at the bottom there you can see I said unmute Mike. And that's my checklist. Now, Greg went over his checklist on a stream that he did where he talked about what he went through. And his checklist was pages and pages, because he said that he reset everything and almost rebuilt the whole Wirecast setup each time. I can't imagine going through that much. But even for a dinky little live stream like this, the things you have to go through, by the time you get it all done, and it's interesting when before you turn your studio lights on and it's still dark outside, all you see is the glow of the computer screens. I swear if it doesn't look like a 747 cockpit in here with all this stuff going on. And that's why I love it, because I do love flashing lights and buttons that you can push. Let me see the chat here. Who else? Exploring Ginger. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? And let me welcome you and give you your blue wrench like everybody else. And thank you for coming by. Doesn't OBS use NDI with Skype? Lloyd said. Yes, it does, Lloyd. And it works great. This is you have to make sure that you've downloaded the absolutely latest version of the Skype app for your PC. And then if you go into Skype, into the menu, you go into calling section, and then in there, advanced settings, and then you'll see a switch that says allow NDI. Now, if you don't have the latest version, and it might even be a beta version, you won't see that switch there. And I made that mistake too, trying to find that stupid switch in what wasn't the latest version of Skype. But then, yes, you do, and then you just go right into OBS. And I know you're using vMix, but you would go into OBS and you just add a device, and one of the device types is a Skype NDI, and you add it in there, and then it gives you a drop-down menu. And if you have 5 different people Skyping in, each one of them will have their own entry. It'll assign them to their own window, and you stick them up wherever you want. And it's one of the simpler things. I found it a little tougher to get OBS in. And one of the problems I had getting OBS in was in my own microphone, I got a little delay into my earphones, which made it very difficult. But we managed to have that 5-hour live stream with a free-for-all on OBS, and that was so much fun that I'm going to start popping up from time to time unannounced later in the afternoon or evening and doing those things again and seeing who we can attract. Let me take a second. Roger Price, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. Okay, Roger, going for coffee. See you all later. Bye now. Okay, Roger, we'll catch you over there. Asgard's still here. We still have 21 people in here, and I love it. I love it. So
this is great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well. Yeah.
Mike, are you still here? Philly Mike? I haven't seen you in the chat for a while. I don't know about you, but I could use another cup of coffee myself right now. It's too late for me to. We're going to shut this down around 9 o'clock, so it's kind of too late for me to run and get it. But I should, like I did. I think it was last Tuesday. I brought the whole carafe thing, the whole pot of coffee in here with me. And
that's not a bad idea.
I think I should do it. It looks like Jim Wallace is with us this morning. Good morning, Jim. You're just chiming in here towards the end. We got Lloyd here, Lloyd Mendenhall. Mike's here. Okay, good to see you, Mike. You're going to be up in on TV here next week, so we got to start thinking about what we want to do. But next week, next Tuesday morning, and I'll put this in the description of the live stream. Mike, Philly Drone Mike is going to be our co-host and be up in the little window, and we're going to talk about his adventures. And I'm from Philly, and so if you come next week, I guarantee you're going to hear a lot of this. You're going to hear a lot of, how you doing? You're going to hear a lot of forget about it. You're going to hear all that kind of talk, because what happens to me is anytime I get in a room full of people from Philadelphia, I immediately revert back to that Philadelphia stuff. And I've been gone from Philadelphia for over 50 years, but it never fails. And in that 5-hour live stream we had the other day, we had Drone Bum. Paul was in here. He's from up that way, and Mike was in here. We sounded like a meeting of the Italian boys club, if you know what I mean. And Jim Wallace just said he's going to bring Philly cheesesteaks for everybody. God, thank you so much, Jim. What a guy. I got to thank Jim. I really have to thank Jim. Jim is such a gentleman, and it's such a generous guy. And he was part of our group. By the way, Adventure Success, I just gave you a wrench so you can feel part of the show. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming in. But Jim Wallace is such an awesome guy and generous, and he emailed me, and he made me a street sign that I think it said old guy in a drone drive, and he's shipping it to me, and all he wants is for me to cover the postage. And I got to tell you that there are too few people like that in the world, but we find a lot of them in this community. I've noticed that, and I really appreciate it. And that sign will be behind me and will probably show through on my green screen, so it should be everywhere, and I'll be proud to do it. And thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate that. I'll be looking forward to getting it and hanging it up. Ivy, take care. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.
Before we go, I'd just like to remind everybody to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and don't be afraid to go visit my channel too.
No. And I got your name stuck right up above you there.
Well, there you go. I mean,
yeah, Gary Foster, and Gary's got some great videos, and Gary shows up in the chats now and then, and we always swap salutations every time we run into a chat room, and feel like we've been friends for quite a while, even though we've never met. That's, I think, one of the greatest things about this is you have all these people feel like you're friends, and I haven't met anybody yet that's in the chat room here, but yet I know them. And
absolutely, yeah.
It's it's wonderful that the technology has allowed us to do that.
It's become a very small world, eh?
It really has. Especially the other day, we had Canada, we had Spike in Australia, we had Mike in Philly, me in Florida, and it was like we were all sitting in the same room. And it really is amazing, coming from the day when I remember you used to have to pay long distance to call somebody in the city next to your city. But no, it really has come. Mike Kelly's in the house. Hey, Mike, how are you? We're almost on the road to show.
Mike Kelly, you just arrived just in time for us to sign off.
Yeah. Oh no, Spike is here. We can't stop now. Spike's here. We'll give it a little while longer. Hey, good day, Spike. Spike gets me going. If I'm in a room with Spike for a while, I start to talk like Spike. And where is the one I'm looking for? I got a sound effect here for Spike, and I'm hitting all the wrong sound effects, and I'm gonna find it. I'm still new to this sound effect board. Where in the world is it? No. Oh, you got your board here.
Open my board and an ad opened up.
Oh, what happened to this thing? I can't believe I can't find it. I put it on here just for Spike, and it's not there.
Did you put it in the favorites folder?
I did, yeah. Maybe I have to go to the alphabetical thing to find it. But let me. No, that's not it. I give up. Oh man. This is professional show business, everybody. Professional show business. If you're an amateur, don't try this at home. Don't try
This is
this
the
at home.
spur of the moment thing that just happens spontaneously, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Kind of lost the spontaneity here.
Where the hell is this thing? There's hundreds and hundreds, there's thousands of these things on here.
We're all going to be surprised when this sound effect finally comes up.
No, it's not here. Oh, foo. I'll find it next time. It goes, crikey! Oh, God. Anyway, here. Yeah. Yeah. That's my favorite. So, Spike, how are you, man? What time is it over there? It's got to be 1 o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Will it work with it? I don't understand what you're asking me, Jim. With the cell phone, Gary looks very sharp this time. No, Gary's on his computer, and we're bringing him into OBS through the Skype NDI, which is going to be much better than the Google Hangouts thing. So that's why he looks just a hell of a lot more handsome today than he did the last time.
Good looks on Skype, eh?
Spike is saying hello to everybody. Well, Spike, I'm glad you made it, and there he goes. He's saying good day to you, Gary, and me. And what time is it there, Spike? Is it time for bed for you guys? Well, I'll tell you what. You can't. Right, guys, I'll tell you what we're going to do. It's after 9 o'clock, and I need more coffee and some breakfast. And I think Roger's probably sitting over there, although I'm sure he's already got more viewers than I do. But and as much as I hate to shut down a stream with people watching, I think I'll go by the old adage that always leave them wanting more. And we will hit our applause, and we will bring in our music. And with that, I will say goodbye to everybody. Gary, thanks so much for helping me out this morning. I had a great time, and I will see all of you guys in the chat rooms. And I don't know what I did to you, Gary, but I made you tiny. I'm sorry about that. Let me see here. I'm screwing it up here at the very end, trying to exit gracefully, and just somehow screwed something up.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry, Gary. Hang on a second. I'll get you back. I mean, I can't just let you go like this. I can't let you go like this. There we are. Okay, close enough.
Okay.
Missed the frame, but there's Gary. So thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. And Spike, hooroo to you too. And we will see you guys the next time. And with that, I'm out of here. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.